Welcome to Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. We've taken an abandoned concrete factory at the margins of the declining American empire and repurposed it into a battleground where 19 separate entities from across the political spectrum enter the discourse one by one and do battle to determine who controls the narrative force of the discourse. I hope you'll join me, your Southern Gothic Futurist host, dirtgod Raven Mack, for each and every episode of Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. The rules are simple. Two people begin entering the ring of our discourse, and another person enters every minute thereafter. At any point during the rumble, when a competitor is thrown over the top rope to the floor surrounding the ring, or submits to or gets pinned by an opponent in the rumble, they are eliminated. Once all 19 people have entered the fray, our Monday Night Rumble continues until all but one has been eliminated. That person is declared the winner of the discourse. Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. We got a recap of last week, folks. Bernie Sanders was in first, having won the Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse 2 weeks ago. Joe Biden had said he had some surprises in store and utilized multiple verified blue checks to come in there and try to take Bernie out. You can see Super Blue Check coming in. She had a pretty strong debut and lasted longer than any of the blue checks, yet Bernie did outlast all the blue checks. No blue checks were able to take him out. Antifa Black Bloc came out pretty early. We show him coming out because Antifa ended up winning this event last week. Joe Biden was a bit upset about that as well. Once the Senator Lindsey Graham came out, made a debut last week and made it to the final three, but Joe Biden afterwards said he wanted our American institutions to be more respected, not just in terms of guys like Bernie Sanders, but Antifa winning clearly upset President Joe. You can see Antifa right here lifts Bernie up and eliminates him. And then we have Senators Mitch McConnell, Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden were all on the apron here at the same time. Biden and McConnell are wrapped up in a pin attempt. Kamala comes out, and all three get eliminated at once. That left Senators Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham in there with Antifa. And Biden said afterwards, out of those three men, Antifa is the last thing he would have wanted to see win. So this week what we're going to have, folks, is we're going to have more than half, I think 12 or 13 competitors are actually going to be current members of Congress who are going to come out in their order of seniority in Congress. That was by executive order of Joe Biden. He wanted that to be the case. He does say he has some surprises in store for Antifa in the first part of tonight's event as well. You can see Antifa pinning Ted Cruz here to win last week. Joe Biden wants to address Antifa's victory through the competition this week, but he also really wants us just to have faith in those American institutions, and we're going to see that with these congressional members coming out in their order of seniority. So we go here to the arena. You can see another thing that Joe wanted to have happen is Kamala Harris is going to be your referee tonight. Here comes Antifa now, holding that hammer. Of course, Antifa won last week. First entrant out this week. This is 2 weeks in a row where our previous week's winner has had to come out first. That's not by plan. That's just kind of how it's happened. And it looks like the police state is going to be facing off against Antifa here in the beginning. You know, the police state always has something to say to Antifa. It's the first line of defense against any dissent against our American government. By the way, I'm dirtgod Raven Mack. You should probably already know that. If you don't, that is the case. We have meritocracy ladders stacked somewhat oddly outside the ring, and we get a bell. Police state immediately on Antifa, but Antifa fighting back. Again, we're going to have Antifa goes to that top rope and misses. We're going to have 19 political entities coming out tonight. They come out in 1-minute intervals. You're eliminated by getting thrown over the top rope or pinned or submitted. Antifa took a blow there, and Police State's kind of hanging back a little bit, not really going after him, almost as if he realizes he's got support coming here. Once again, all those briefcases are holding lobbyist money. Antifa with a pin attempt on the Police State. Only a 2 count, and we get a buzzer. And it's verified blue check again. That Atlantic contributor, New York Times op-ed writer that we saw last week. Constant appearances on cable news out here to disparage Antifa, and the Police State rolls out the ring and is eliminated. Not sure what that was all about, but Police State eliminated, so the verified blue check is in there, pointing his middle fingers at Antifa. Of course, always respect for our systems and institutions come from the verified blue check, whether they are progressive or conservative. They tend to support the American institutions that are in place. Antifa, of course, is against that, and we get a buzzer here. And it's the National Guard. The National Guard has been called in. He's climbing that ladder outside the ring. The National Guard has come in and falls. Now, I had a chance to talk to this young man who is in the National Guard, and he said he was very excited to serve under Joe Biden after the last 4 years. He's a young man from the Rocky Mount, North Carolina area, just trying to provide for his family. It's an economically depleted area he lives in currently outside of Rocky Mountain. He said that through the use of the National Guard allows him to provide for his family in ways that not necessarily available to him there. A lot of times people don't realize a lot of these folks that serve in the Army are coming from rundown areas and not necessarily, they're not pro-empire people. Well, here comes the Twitter communist. I don't know if that type of nuance is going to reach the Twitter communist. Things tend to be pretty simplified in Twitter communist analysis, although he does use a lot of polysyllabic words a lot of times. So we've got the verified blue check, the National Guard, Antifa, and the Twitter communists in there right now. That is Discourse, folks. Now, again, Biden said we're going to have the back end of our entrance here stacked with members of Congress. So I don't know when that will start. I know once that starts, that's all we're going to see. And here comes Super Blue Check. Mentioned her in the recap. She had a really strong showing last week. She actually got recirculated on social media a lot after the strikes in Syria were done by the Biden administration for making a couple of tweets talking about how good it felt to have a competent president striking foreign lands as opposed to the previous administration. Not quite sure how good that feels to actual Syrian people, but she just nailed the National Guard with that nightstick. Gets a 2 count. And we're about to get someone else here. Twitter communist tossed out by the Super Blue Check. Okay, this is not an FBI agent. Super Blue Check eliminated. Not an FBI agent dressed exactly like Antifa. I am told acts like Antifa, works with Antifa, but I have been assured this is not an FBI agent, even though this person has no personal history beyond the last 6 months or so. Not sure what that is about. They look exactly like Antifa. So that not an FBI agent just jumps on Antifa and rolls them up. And now we've got, here comes COVID-19. Don't forget about COVID-19, folks. It's still out there. I can tell you that I've gotten my vaccination through my day job. I've gotten both doses of the Pfizer vac shot. So apparently I'm supposed to have COVID protection. I still mask up just to be safe. When out in public, not at home. I don't wear, I mean, I might wear a Mexican wrestling mask at home for leisure, depending on how I feel, but COVID-19 slowly making his way into the ring. That not an FBI agent was just not an FBI agent was eliminated by that verified blue check. So here we go. Marjorie Taylor Greene is now out. This is a first-term congresswoman, and I wanted to make note that she served in Congress now for about 2 months. Been in the news a lot. The #1 song on the day she was sworn in was All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. And if you were born on the day Marjorie Taylor Greene was sworn into Congress, you'd be about 2 months old right now. COVID-19 is beating on Antifa. Marjorie Taylor Greene hanging out in the corner. National Guard still in there, looking a little rough right now. Verified blue check in there. Marjorie Taylor Greene just power slammed by COVID-19. And we get a buzzer. And Lauren Boebert's coming out now. This is also another first-term congresswoman, so she's only been in there about 2 months. Has seniority. Verified blue check eliminated. Pinned by, I didn't see that in there. Lauren Boebert actually has seniority over Marjorie Taylor Greene. And Antifa Black Bloc pin. So last week's winner has been eliminated. So the way seniority works when people are sworn in at the same time is it goes by alphabetical order. And Marjorie Taylor Greene not only doesn't have seniority, she just got eliminated. And then the National Guardsman eliminated by COVID-19. So we're down to Lauren Boebert and COVID-19 are the only folks left in there right now. And we get the buzzer. And it's AOC. AOC comes out. So AOC was sworn in January 3rd, 2019 in her second term. If you were born the day AOC was sworn into Congress, you would currently be 2 years old, toddler, walking around hopefully. #1 song in America when AOC went in was Thank You Next by Ariana Grande. She's taking her time getting there to the ring. COVID-19 is just beating on Lauren Boebert. So we have 2 congresswomen and COVID-19 in the ring right now. COVID-19 is huge still. Just huge. And here comes the buzzer. Oh, and the Senator Ted Cruz, who made light of his trip to Cancun at the CPAC conference this week. He's trying to position himself as a candidate. Ted Cruz, sworn in as a senator January 3rd, 2013. So if you were born on the day Ted Cruz was sworn into the Senate, you'd be 8 years old right now. The #1 song when he was sworn in was Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars. Cruz seeming to have some problem navigating that ladder into the ring. Well, he figures out he finally ought to move it, I guess. We get a pin, and Lauren Boebert is pinned by AOC. So a little congressional disagreement settled right there. And we've got a buzzer. Oh, and it's Senator Rand Paul. Rand Paul, junior senator from Kentucky, he's out. So Rand Paul has been a senator since January 3rd, 2011. If you were born on the day he was sworn into the Senate, you would be 10 years old right now. #1 song when Rand Paul became senator was Fireworks by Katy Perry. Man, that song was an earworm a long time back. And COVID-19 knocked out of the ring by Ted Cruz, oddly enough. So COVID-19 is out, and we're left with 2 Republican senators, Ted Cruz and Rand Paul, and that Democratic Congresswoman AOC. Senators are going at it right now. We get a buzzer, and it's another Republican senator, Lindsey Graham, now coming out. Lindsey Graham. So Lindsey Graham's been a senator since 2003, but before that for 8 years he was a congressman from South Carolina. So on the day he was sworn in, January 3rd, 1995, the #1 song in America on Bended Knee by Boyz II Men, going all the way back to the Boyz II Men era. And if you were born on the day Lindsey Graham first was sworn into Congress, you'd be 18 years old right now, old enough to vote. And Rand Paul is knocked off. AOC holding herself well. Rand Paul eliminated pretty quickly in his first time here in the Discourse, and AOC knocked out as well. And here comes another first-time senator. Dianne Feinstein's come out. Dianne Feinstein, Senator Feinstein, first sworn into the Senate as a replacement for Pete Wilson, November 4th, 1992. That means if you were born the day she took her job in the Senate, you would now be 28 years old. 28 years old. And number one song in America at the time she was sworn in was End of the Road by Boyz II Men. And I have to make a note, looking at that Boyz II Men note, actually, Lindsey Graham, you'd be 18 since he's a senator. You'd be 26 years old since he's been in Congress. So both Feinstein and Graham have been in Congress for over 25 years. And here comes Bernie Sanders, that progressive Vermont senator, technically an independent. So as another person that had a period of being a representative, he was Vermont's at-large representative for 16 years before becoming senator. Number one song when he was sworn in, January 3rd, 1991, was Justify My Love by Madonna. If you were born the day Bernie Sanders entered Congress, you would be 30 years old right now, folks. 30 years old. And there's a pin. Dianne Feinstein has been pinned by Ted Cruz. So out of our four senators, the old and frail Dianne Feinstein probably expected to go first. She did. And speaking of old, here comes Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, and she's going to try to even up this political discourse. Got that Speaker of the House mic and just nails Ted Cruz in the back of the head. So Nancy Pelosi has been in Congress since June 2nd, 1987. The number one song in America the day Nancy Pelosi took office was With or Without You by U2. Pin attempt on Lindsey Graham by Bernie. With or Without You by U2. Now that's way back in their days. If you were born when Nancy Pelosi was sworn in June 2nd, 1987, you'd currently be 33 years old. 33 years old. And here comes Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, the senator from Kentucky. Ted Cruz just got pinned by Lindsey Graham. A little bit of revenge from last week, I guess, for Senator Graham. So we've got Ted Cruz, Bernie Sanders, Mitch McConnell, and Nancy Pelosi. And Mitch McConnell has been senator since January 3rd, 1985. 1985. Number one song in America that day was Like a Virgin by Madonna. Madonna's career was just starting out when Mitch McConnell became a senator. And Lindsey Graham is eliminated there by Nancy Pelosi. Quick toss of Lindsey Graham. And our last entrance is President Joe Biden. So like I said, Mitch McConnell and Bernie Sanders tossed by Mitch McConnell. So Mitch McConnell, Madonna was number one when Mitch McConnell came out. Joe Biden is in there now with Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, the Senate majority, minority, distraction, whatever he is, and Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House. So before Biden became vice president, he was, of course, senator from Delaware, and he was that senator since January 3rd, 1973. 1973. What that means is, and Biden's going for a pin here on Pelosi, gets a one count. When Joe Biden assumed his senatorial position, if you were born on that day, you would now be 48 years old. 48 years old, folks. On top of that, number one song in America when Joe Biden took office as a senator was Me and Mrs. Jones by Billy Paul. There's another Billy Paul song called Let the Dollar Circulate that seems fairly relevant, even though it was 48 years ago. Nancy Pelosi knocked over the top rope. Mitch goes out there with her. Biden's at the edge. Now Biden's out on it. All three of them dangerously on that apron. Biden knocks Pelosi off and eliminates her. And that leaves Biden and McConnell in the ring. So Mitch McConnell, who for some reason is able to stop all these Democratic things, Biden is in there fighting Mitch McConnell now. Maybe they can hash out some way to finally get some sort of COVID relief. I know they killed the minimum wage part of that stimulus bill. Said it would kill too many small businesses. Not sure what the math is behind that. Hopefully we eventually get some sort of economic relief. I know a lot of folks are struggling. It feels sort of silly to talk about it during this Monday night rumble of the discourse, but it is the reality of the country we live in. our innate inequality has become more magnified over the last year. And Biden going for a pin, one old white man trying to pin another. McConnell's been bloodied up in there, but he's still surviving, just much like McConnell and Mitch McConnell in real life. Old mean Mitch McConnell, that fighting senator from Kentucky. Devastating suplex and a quick count by Kamala Harris, and President Biden has finally won one of these Monday Night Rumbles of the discourses, just like he has wanted to from the beginning. He raises his arms in victory there in front of McConnell. President Biden has finally done it. As always, this Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse is supported by my Patreon, Raven Mack, Southern Gothic Futurism. That's www.patreon.com/Raven Mack. Please check that out. I encourage you to be a supporter of the nonsense I do. I also encourage you to support whatever community crowd-funded mutual aid you can right now. Times are really hard out here. That is the end of this Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. We will possibly be back next Monday, maybe the Monday after. I don't know. Salam.